Hi, my name is Bruce, and this video is about my garage workshop. Some assembly required. It's a very small one-car garage, so let's see. So here's my milling machine on a home-built stand. And next door my hard-hinge HLVH lathe, which is very old and very worn and in the process of being refurbished. Oh, and just a note on power supply. This hard-hinge lathe runs on 460 volts, and I have 110 volts in this house. This is North America. So, in fact, the house is fed with two kind of out of phase 110 volts, so you can get 220 volts. So, got 220 volts single phase in the grey box at the top right, and then I have a phase converter on the front of the lathe there. It's a rotary phase converter, and then there's a step-up transformer hidden away inside the cupboard on the right hand side of the lathe to step it up to 440, 450 volts, and lathe runs fine. Next is my small benchtop Chinese made lathe, which is really poor quality but has really done great service for me. And then just drill press. There's a surface plate in the box there. Bandsaw. There's a table that will go on the bandsaw, but the table sticks out and would hit the car, so the table is off usually. And then the box taped in a package at the bottom there is a heat treating furnace, which I got for a very nice price at an auction. Workbench is slimmed down so that the vise won't hit the car. It's actually tapered off at this end. Yeah, and that's about it. Oh, and I'm chronically short of workbench space, so workbench is just trestles with a chunk of plywood. Has to do. Not very satisfactory, but it has to make do. Anything that needs solidity, I would have to make some space on this bench, which is very well built, home built, and screwed to the wall as well. And just in terms of auxiliary equipment and everything, just a quick run round over there. Just under that white box is rotary table, spin indexer, that's a tool post grinder. That's an offhand grinder. It's just mounted on a piece of plywood, and that just comes up onto the desk and the bench top when needed. Surface plate, that's a sander that bought second hand and waiting for refurbishing. The white boxes are auction purchases waiting to be stored somewhere. Parts washer. Underneath are large tools. There's a bunch of large combination wrenches, sockets set, a couple of bricks and some sand for flattening stones and such like. Over there, that's my tool D-bit grinder, my tool and cutter grinder. It's actually a real decal that's older than me, and I refurbished it. Taps, dies, drills, PPE, hand power tools, welding and larger like big vernier and that sort of thing. In the bottom cupboard of the tool chest there's drill chucks, fixtures, face plates, whatever, the bigger stuff. Just around the corner there's an arbor press that has to be brought out and mounted, so not usable as it is. I mean, it has to be bolted down. There is my scrap bin. Oh, and just under the bench there is more raw materials, larger steel stock and plastic. Not very ideal to store it on the concrete floor, but this is a small shop. And underneath the mill there's a bunch of drawers, and in there are things like, in the top drawer, most commonly used milling cutters, drill chuck, arbors, stuff that I use a lot, sand edge finder. Then there's just a bunch of tools, small finished parts or parts in progress. And in the bottom, the larger stuff, like there's a demagnetizer, a couple of boring heads, some dividing plates, that sort of stuff. Over here is raw materials stacked up against the wall, very untidy, waiting for me to build proper rack for them. Rubbish bin, and that's about it really. On the shelves is all the bits and pieces, welding up there, soldering, sanding and abrasives, some nuts and bolts, parallels, music to keep the machinist entertained, some milling cutters, more commonly used ones, various other hardware. And it's all kind of messy and a bit embarrassing from that point of view, but it's a work in progress. And you know, I find I have very little time to spend in the workshop, and I know it makes sense to do all the setup properly, but when I get in the workshop all I want to do is make chips, and so the proper setup tends to take the back seat. Just how it is. So that's it. A nice little home machine shop that suits me very well, right in my house. And the car still fits in. Bye for now.